Hi everyone, it is day 4 of March Matness, and today we're going to be focusing on our single leg circle. All you need is a little cushion to support your head, something to lie on, so a yoga mat, Pilates mat, or a thick rug or a blanket on the floor, just something to protect your spine is going to be great as well, and a resistance band like this one if you have it. If you don't have a resistance band, then a pair of tights or a scarf with a bit of stretch in it is going to do the job just as well. So we're going to start in our relaxation position, and we're going to bring ourselves down onto the floor, setting yourself up with your head supported by your little cushion, the weight going down to the back of your head, back of your rib cage and the back of your pelvis. Knees and feet are hip distance apart. Just settle yourself down here and do a few little rocks backwards and forwards. So we're going to draw our spine back into the floor, imprinting our lumbar spine, and then inhale to arch away. So we're just warming up our spine here. So imprinting and arching. Hopefully it's light enough in here. I've had to draw the curtain because it's so sunny, but then it makes it a little bit dim, so hopefully you can see me okay. Good. Okay, let's bring ourselves back through to a neutral position, so neither imprinting nor arching away. I'd like you to bring your knees and feet together, take your arms out in a low V. We're going to start with a hip roll from side to side. So let your feet peel off the floor as you tip your pelvis over to the side. Keep your legs going with it. Keep the opposite shoulder down. Draw your core muscles back in to come back to center. And let's go over to the other side. Breathing out, going over to the other side. Coming back through to your start position. Let's keep going. Over to the side, nice and smooth and slow. Drawing back to center. So just opening up those hip joints. Getting that movement through the lumbar spine as well. And come back through to center. Okay, so now we're going to go into some single knee openings. So what we're going to do is open our legs out to one side, one at a time, keeping your hips level, your pelvis, level, your hip bones stay level, and draw back in. So we're opening the hips out from side to side. Really nice preparatory exercise. So again, we're getting internal and external rotation of the leg in the pelvic joint. So opening out, keep your core muscles coming in, so you should feel nice and stable around your middle here. And one more time to each side here. Great, and our final one. Over to the side and bring back through. Okay, so I'd like to extend your leg away from you, just keeping it quite long on the floor, but you can have your foot on the floor as well. Just trying to make a bit of space for you to move that leg. I'd like you to bring one knee in without altering your pelvis and spine position. Take your arms out wide again. I'm going to just start circling that leg around. So you're kind of stirring the leg in the hip joint. So you can either use your hands to help you guide that leg, or you can just do this with your hands on the floor and rely on the strength of that leg. So we're trying to go over the midline of the body, away from the midline, out, up, and in. So we're doing a nice circle. And just think about that hip joint just pushing down, so the leg just drawing down into the hip. Okay. And around. The last one like this, and let's go the other way. Circling around, using these core muscles to help you stabilize, so there's no movement through your spine just yet, and the other leg is staying really, really strong on the floor. Maybe getting a little bit more smooth as you get warmer through here. Last circle here, and take that leg down. See if your legs feel slightly different. We're going to do the same with the other one. So draw the other knee in. Might feel completely different already. Just depends on what you've been doing and the mobility of your hips. And remember, they can always be different. So nobody is equal through both sides. So we're just going to circle around again. Remember, you can use your hands. It's so nice to get that movement at the hip. Keeping it nice and healthy. I mean, we spend a lot of time going into flexion and extension of the hip. We don't tend to do a lot of this, but it's a really essential movement, keeping that joint really healthy. Good. 2 more. And around the other way, circling around the other way, drawing that leg in and around. Super. 3 and 2 and 1. And bring that foot down. Okay, so now we're going to do the same, but with a longer leg. And this is where we're going to need our bands. So keep your legs hip distance apart. And then I'd like to draw your leg in and get your band, your tights, or your scarf, and lengthen that leg up towards the ceiling. and use the band to help support your legs. So you're not using the band to bring it into a hamstring stretch. You're using the band to support the weight of that leg. Toe muscles coming in once again. And you can either hold the band with both hands or one hand. I find it easier to hold the band with one hand and place my other arm on the floor, and that helps me keep my balance, because what we're going to do now is just support this leg as we go into a circle. So I'm keeping the other leg bent at the moment, and you're trying to reach away through that leg, bring it all the way up and round. So you might find that you're quite tight through your hamstrings, and that is going to make the movement a little bit more tricky. But as you get warmer, and as those muscles begin to become more flexible, you might find that you've got a bigger range of movement. So you'll take it away, all the way around, so away from your body, up towards your nose and back around. We're going to do 6 like this. So still supporting that leg with the band, and then let's reverse the direction. So we're just warming up that hip, getting those muscles ready for when we get rid of the band. And I like you to think about that core connection. So bring those toe muscles in. It's going to support you here. And trying to keep your body relaxed, your shoulders relaxed and down, and your jaw relaxed as well. 3 and 2, doing well. And our final one, circling around and drawing that leg back in. Let's swap our legs over and do the same on the other side. So your legs, again, might feel slightly different. You might feel that you've got more movement in one side. So other arm goes out now, lengthen that leg and do exactly the same. So we're drawing that leg around, keeping the leg long. So I like to just kind of reach through my heel, trying to get the full range of movement at that hip. So using the band to support you as you go around. Right, 2 more like this. Reach your way up, round. Good, and our final one, we're going to reach through that heel, circling around once again, really reaching through. Drawing those core muscles in, reaching around. 2 more like this. So just remember how this feels in that hip joint, because this next one, we're going to get rid of that band and have the other leg long along the floor. Okay, so pop the band to the side. I like to lengthen both legs away this time. Now, this is going to feel slightly different. If you really want to, you can have that leg bent. It's totally up to you. Just think, though, that having that leg there is going to impede the movement and that amount of circle you can get, because you're going to have to brush over that leg. So try and have that leg long. Take your arms on the floor in a low V and lengthen that leg up to the ceiling. Okay, so the leg is lengthened up. Depending on on your hamstring length, you might be able to get that leg really quite far in, or it might be quite far away. It doesn't matter. Just do what suits you. I have quite tight hamstrings, as you can see, so my leg's never going to come all the way up to my nose. This time, we're going to let our pelvis and our spine move. So drawing a big circle with your toe, let your pelvis move to enable you to draw a big circle around. So take that leg over the center line of the body, away from your nose, away from the midline, and back up. Keeping that length through, so light point of the toe, using your arms to help you stabilize and think about that energy. So it's quite a dynamic circle. It's not like a lazy stir. You're trying to get lots of movement in there. One more time this direction. Keep those core muscles in, but let your pelvis move. And then let's go the other way, circling around. And you might find that you get into a little bit of a rhythm. And you might find that as your leg warms up, you can get a little bit deeper into that movement. So the other leg is acting like an anchor. Arms are acting as a balance as well. Final one. And then hug that knee in towards you and have a little bit of a rest here. We're going to do exactly the same on the other leg. So swap those legs over. So one leg long as your anchor. Lengthen the other leg up towards the ceiling. Take your arms out. Light point through your toe. And let your pelvis move as you circle around. So we just breathe. I forgot to mention the breath. Breathing once per movement. Good. And think about the energy going through. Oh, got a little twinge in my hip then. One more. And let's circle the opposite way now. Circling away, pointing through that toe. Lovely length. Keep your arms on the floor. 3 and 2 and 1. Draw that knee in. and give yourself a little bit of a hug here. Let that hip relax. Whew. Great, and we're going to roll ourselves over onto our sides now. Push ourselves up through to a seated position and come into our lovely stretch. So breathing in. As we breathe out, float both arms all the way towards the ceiling, reaching through your fingers and press the air away. And our final one here, all the way up, reaching through your fingers, press the air away, and give yourself a nice clap. Well done. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you've really enjoyed that exercise. Tomorrow we're going to be back for a seated exercise, so I'm looking forward to seeing you then. Have a great day and take care. Bye-bye.